Hello, and thanks for being with me here on the Political Napalm. So, my incredibly deepest apologies for not having done a video in a long time. I do not consider my viewership large enough to be like, hey, sorry, I've been letting you guys down. Sorry you missed me. I don't think of myself that highly. My follower count really says such. And I even lost one recently. The news has been coming too fast, too furious, too intense, too rapid fire, too completely artillery shelling for some time. It's hard to keep up. And it's generally so aggravating and depressing to cover this news now that every time I sit down and I think I want to do a video, something else happens. It's literally like having ADHD and being like, so I'm gonna shiny thing. And that is honestly, that is the MAGA way. It is the flood the zone way. You see it even in the way MAGA replies to people on social media. You'll notice that a typical conversation, let's say on Twitter, is you make a post, they reply. You make a post, they reply. It's a heartbeat cycle, left, right, left, right. Often with MAGA, it is you make a reply and then they make two or three. While you're reading the first one and formulating a reply, two more come in. The flooding the zone strategy isn't a bug. It's a feature. It's a habit. It's what they do. And it is very indicative of the way Trumpers and MAGA handle their rhetoric. We can go all the way back to J6. We've talked about it enough on this channel. We saw it way back on J6 and J7 when social media kept throwing spaghetti on the wall to see what would stick. If you remember, the early reports were that QAnon Shaman and the two people that were with him couldn't be MAGA. No, there's no way these people could be MAGA. Look at the way QAnon Shaman is dressed, except nobody knew he was QAnon Shaman at that point. But once people figured out who his name, what his stage name was, where he's been, like these QAnon protests out in Arizona and everything, that was debunked. But for 24 to 48 hours, everybody was like, that's a liberal. Look at the way this guy is dressed with an elk horn hat, like it's the movie Dragnet from the 80s and everything, with their goat skin caps. And it's January in DC and he's topless and these tattoos and everything. He's so goddamn stupid looking. He can't be MAGA. He's a liberal. And this other guy next to him has a communist hammer and sickle tattooed on his hand. And this other guy, he can't be MAGA either for unknown reasons. And this other guy that's in a picture with them, he can't be MAGA because he has a t-shirt that says Antifa. Well, the t-shirt guy, that photo was edited. His actual shirt says Antifa sucks. And the Southern Law and Poverty Center had a file on that guy because he's a deep, deep racist. Half-naked guy is QAnon Shaman, Jacob Chansley. We know that one. The hammer and sickle wasn't a hammer and sickle. It was the emblem of the game Dishonored, the series Dishonored, honestly, from Arcane Studios. And then the other guy was the guy who got busted and fired because he wore his work badge to the insurrection. This is what MAGA does. They will continue to spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. And when one avenue is shut down, when one door is shut, they will go up to sheetrock and they will try and carve another door, whether it's big, whether it's small enough to just get a cat in there, whether it's big enough that an elephant could go traipsing through it. They will try and try and try. And they haven't learned that all this fucking bullshit fails every time. They remember Perry, the guy who choked out somebody in the New York subway because they were being violent and he was restraining them and he was trying to save people and he wound up killing that guy. They used a different video of a different African American guy sometime in the past, and they said, well, this guy has this history. He's done this. Here's a video. Now, yes, that is true. That guy had a history of getting up to shenanigans, so to speak, in the New York City subway. He was a career pest, if not a career violent pest over there. But they used a video of somebody who wasn't even the same guy. And just any amount of actually looking at the video would tell you this isn't the same guy. There was the AI fake. I think it was AI, but it might have been just another person that they hired to do this. But there was that African American guy who said that Tim Walz had assaulted him on a trip when he was, I don't remember exactly what it was because it was a few years ago now, but he had this heavy accent and he had a mustache and he was like, yeah. And, Tim Walz assaulted me, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And then the actual guy, the guy named in that stuff, I'm going to call him Bob Smith because I don't remember his name. The actual Bob Smith, who was also African American, had to put out a video and say, that's not me. This guy sounds like his accent is like Zimbabwean or something. Yes, I'm the name that is mentioned in this, but Tim Walz never did this shit to me. What is this? That was, again, MAGA throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks. And they don't realize that all of it falls off as if the goddamn wall has been WD-40'd from top to bottom. And now they're doing it again with Alex Pretti. This lady, Mrs. S, don't know who she is, never saw any content from her on Twitter ever, but she has 1 million views as of now. It was in the 900,000 about 10 minutes ago. Now it's crested 1 million. She has this bullshit over here. Hospital director speaks out. Former employee Alex Pretti fired 3 months ago amid multiple complaints of inappropriate behavior. They're trying to smear this man who was assaulted and killed in cold blood by ICE simply for stepping in the way and checking on a lady that they had thrown to the ground. He got his body in between the ICE officer and the lady that was thrown to the ground, went to assist her, tried to tell the guy to back off, which is what a goddamn man does in protecting somebody that is being victimized and assaulted. This is a hero. This is a heroic person for what they did, checking on somebody because he's an ICU nurse. He is used to caring for people. He's used to giving a shit about humanity, and he sticks his body in there, and that's when everything began to escalate. And because he had a gun on his person, and likely from what it seems in the videos that as they were taking the gun and the guy who took the gun was walking away from him, it went off. He was shot multiple times and killed. But now the smear campaign is starting. And I want to compare and contrast it to another similar situation to this, but obviously very different in many ways. Ashley Babbitt. It's another woman that we've talked about on this channel before. Nobody needed to smear Ashley after what happened to her. The right attempted to martyrize her, but they couldn't find anything to say, oh, look at this upstanding citizen that Ashley Babbitt was. She rescued kittens from trees. She walked puppies for free for the elderly people in her neighborhood. She donated time at a local soup kitchen and volunteered. There was nothing like that. Nobody could martyrize her, but nobody needed to smear her. She was shot in the line of duty by a Capitol Police officer who was trying to stave off a potential flood of people coming through that broken out window and going over the barricade, because that was what his job was to do. And he had people in his charge to protect. But nobody on the left needed to go and dig into that woman's history and smear her. Yes, there was that video of her acting psychotic, saying, where's Kamala, where's Kamala, where's Kamala? But nobody had to lie about her. Nobody had to lie about Rittenhouse. Yes, there is a video of him jumping a girl from behind in a high school parking lot. And then the people filming it were like, oh, hell no. Time to get this pudgy little fuck off of her. Yes, there is that video of him saying racist stuff as to people coming out of a CVS at around the time of those protests and everything. They go to speak to that person's character, but none of them were bullshit. They were actually real. They were not made up narratives. Nobody needed to smear them, and no Democrat, no liberal, no social media person needed to go digging into their life and attempt to find something to smear and then come up with bullshit like this. So how do we know this is bullshit? Well, down in this thread, there is a particular site that is referenced, and that is this buzzreport247.com. Well, buzzreport247.com is not a site where you can look up the media bias about it. But as of today, you can see here, January 27th, by a name that honestly does not sound particularly American at all. Lon Ah sounds like it is potentially Indian or Pakistani. But you can see here the media bias. Proud to stand with Greg Bavino. And everything is new. When you, well, let's see older posts over here. January 26th. Yeah, everything is so far extremely new with this person. Only about a day or so old, and a lot of it is concerning local American MAGA related stuff, Trump related stuff. This is not him. This person has already been named. This is not Alex Pretti. This hospital director speaking out on him being fired 3 months ago is, in fact, bullshit. This is a WordPress site. As a matter of fact, when you look up over here and you see this sample page, they're even leaving up the goddamn structure of this. The examples, the demos, the skeleton. It's listed here because this isn't a site. This isn't a news site. This is the modern day equivalent of GeoCities and Lycos and Angel Fire. I mean, this is basically something that could be done in Microsoft front page. And if any of you guys know what I'm speaking about, you'll know how old that stuff is. This is nothing. This is not a formatted site. This is not a properly published news site or anything like it. This is simply a WordPress. And it's like it's broken over here. Links are broken. Images are broken. That's why they're not displaying. This is complete trash. The ads are rampant, similar to like Dinesh D'Souza's own site that he tries to peddle in his Twitter posts and everything. I've never seen anybody like Dinesh who references his own bullshit. As an example, he'll like look at the story and he'll link it, and it comes from conservativequeef.com, which is a site he owns. It's literally like handing you something in my left hand and saying, oh, by the way, you can find out more information about it here, and handing them something with your right hand. MAGA's they're just goddamn awful. This is a WordPress site. That's what that W is right up there. WordPress. This is the reality of Pretti. January 26th, Linda F. Hershey, almost looks like Hershey, surrounded by medical staff, critical care nurse Alex Pretti paused to express gratitude. So this part of the article talks about a veteran that he helped a while ago. But here's the clear thing. On Monday of this week, medical staff at the Minneapolis Veterans Hospital held a similar tribute, this time for Pretti, similar to the tribute that he held for this veteran years ago. Staff lined the hospital hallways to pay their silent respects in what is known as an honor walk, because he still works there. This is his job. Well, still work there, past tense. This is his former job, honoring him because he still worked there up until the moment of his passing. And then if you want further proof, People. People magazine. This is a known nationwide publication. Sonny Fouts, an Air Force veteran and surgical patient who was cared for by Alex Pretti just 2 weeks ago. This is People saying that he was there 2 weeks ago in comparison to a WordPress site with not even Alex Pretti saying that he was terminated 3 months ago. In this thread, this woman is called out for her crap by referencing Grok, by referencing a media report on Buzz 247 and everything, saying that it's, largely bullshit. And she's like, yeah, they get some things wrong, but they get some things right. It is insane. The twisting and the contortions that MAGA goes through just to make their stupid points, and they never wind up being right. They never have any truth for them, and they keep doing it. We've talked on this channel about what happened, and this is going to be timely again because it's coming up in a month or so. Remember the Summer Olympics of 2024 when MAGA and religious conservatives were all in a twist because they thought the Olympic opening ceremonies was making fun or twisting the painting of the Last Supper, when in all actuality, it was referencing the Greek feast of Dionysius. The Greek feast? Greek? Athens? Olympics? Like, oh my God. They're so goddamn dumb. They're so easily misled. It is positively insane how they keep trying this crap. And of course, we had the controversy about the supposed trans or transitioning female boxer who was actually a dude who transitioned into female, was hurting people because he had a man's strength, but she was born a female, was always a female. And they're referencing the debunked Russian, the Russian governing body of boxing that only released that report after she defeated a Russian boxer. And then they kind of leaked, they put out there, they slid under the rug that story that, oh, she's trans, when actually she's not, and she's Algerian. She'd likely be seriously harmed if she was a trans person there. They do this all the time. We cover it all the time on this channel, and they're doing it again. Alex Pretti is looking more and more heroic for what happened, and his murder was unjustifiable on all counts. There's a newscaster who is saying that Alex Pretti held his phone like a gun and could be misinterpreted as a gun. Look at how he's holding it there. He's holding it as if he's somebody who's used to there being one of those pop caps in the back, the rings, or the like the little rubber where you can stick the stem of it in between your fingers and hold it, but then you can put it down on a table and it rests. That's how it looks like he's holding it there, like he's used to a ring back on the phone or one of those little rubber stands, and he's holding it horizontal. He's not holding it like a gun. There's no trigger finger going on over there. There's no slamming of the phone into the webbing by the thumb. He's holding it like somebody who doesn't want to touch a screen and doesn't want to get fingers in the way of a camera, and maybe used to holding the phone with one of those stands in the back over there. How that caster said he held it like a gun at any point is ridiculous. So the smear campaign is now out. Meanwhile, you have idiots on social media referencing the meme of pretty good, referencing Pretti and good, just abhorrent people. And believe it or not, Of all people, Terrence K. Williams, the failed garbage MAGA comedian who does shuck and jive routines all the time on Twitter, who thinks he's fucking hysterical when he's just god awful. He actually has something real about Alex Pretti on his page. He's telling the truth for a change and seemingly not being a jackass about it. Statement from Alex Pretty's final nursing student. I was his final nursing student. He was my friend and mentor. I stood shoulder to shoulder with him. He carried patience, compassion, calm, and a steady light. Even at the very end, that light was there. It doesn't surprise me that his final words were, "Are you okay?" I want his family to know that his legacy lives on. Take one step, no matter how small, to help heal our world. I am surprised this is Terrence K. Williams. I had to click on this to see if it was maybe a different Terrence K. Williams, but no, this is him. You click this, and it is absolutely him. This is such a shining light in the complete shit pit of Terrence K. Williams' soft shoe routine that he does on social media, on Twitter and Facebook. I truly cannot believe he made this post, considering how garbage of a human being Terrence actually is, and the lies and the bullshit that he spews, and the delight that he takes in being MAGA trash. I'm so surprised to see this here because it's completely unfiltered. It is that statement with nothing from him. He's not weighing in on it. He's not making fun of it, although the people in the supply, in the replies are. Yeah, I cannot believe this. So if Terrence is making a post like this, you know that this, what you're seeing over there on the right, is who Alex was, and not this bullshit on a WordPress site. So again, my followers, the people watching this video, please be careful at the crap you believe. Please use critical thinking and figure this stuff out before you go with the narrative. Even to those not on the right, to not MAGA. We had that report that Greg Bovino was supposedly being fired, and everybody's like, oh, it's coming from the Atlantic. They spew bullshit all the time. I sat there and I held on to that one for about a day. I was like, okay, the reports are coming in, but the White House is maybe saying that no, he's not, and the White House isn't believable. So which is it? Is he fired, or is he not going anywhere? Well, now you have Trump saying, well, maybe he wasn't the right guy for the job. So it looks like the Atlantic is going to be right, and there's egg on MAGA's face again, who is defending him and saying he wasn't in fact fired. And it looks like, yeah, he's going to be fired. So even when something fits your narrative, and I say this to anybody who's center or left or right, hold on, chill out, do a bit of research, don't go with your one source and believe it, and actually hold things to account. Use a critical eye when looking at this stuff. So we're going to check out something before the end of this video here. BuzzReport247.com. Do something like this. Go to like GoDaddy, paste that in there, the domain, and see who it's owned by. See when it was registered, see who it was owned by. Registered about a year ago, half a year ago, and look at the registrant information. Reykjavik. What can I say? Can I say anything more? Okay, let's use, I can also. Let's just confirm, because again, we say don't take one source. So we did a GoDaddy. Let's look up ICANN. What does ICANN say? Reykjavik. So this site, sitting there, posting MAGA-related stuff that is barely a WordPress skeleton site, hasn't even been registered in the United States. It's registered here. Iceland. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but the proof is here. The proof is in the pudding. You have people saying he was there 2 weeks ago, and you have this random Lon Ah on this random bullshit site saying he was fired 3 months ago. Oh, okay. Vietnamese. Okay, sure. We believe you, Lon Ah, on a WordPress site that is basically this may as well be MySpace. Honestly, this may as well be a MySpace page. That's how bad this is. So that's all for me. Maybe I'll get back to doing more videos, but I could not let this one stand. And you know from the content that I produce over here, this is the kind of stuff that truly pisses me off because it's an out and out lie. It's a smear job. It's pathetic. And an actual critical thinking would debunk this in about 10 seconds flat. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.